What's up, guys? So it's been a few weeks since I've been able to get out and make another video, but getting out here today. Gonna do an overnight. This will be the first overnight I've been able to do a couple months. First solo overnight I've done since probably last fall. I think October 2020 was the last. So yeah, I'm excited to be out here. As you saw walking in, I got quite a large bag with me. That's got a 120 liter backpack, and I got it stuffed right now. About 60 pounds of gear. I've got a canvas tent, I've got a wool blanket, a sheepskin bedroll, like sleep pad. Trying out a new tent stove I got. So, sure, probably seen this guy before. Little Gstove Heat View. I was really hoping to be able to do a winter overnight with it. I ordered it back, I think October 25th. It came beginning of March. So, yeah, no snow on the ground for this trip, but it's gonna get below freezing tonight. It'll probably still be a little too warm in the tent, but hey, I want to try it out yet before it's too warm to use it. So, I've got a ton of wood kind of all around me right now that I'm gonna have to process down. A lot of dead standing stuff that I brought with me on my walk in here. Had to make a couple trips with all the wood, but yeah, it'll be enough to do a fire tonight, plus do a fire to burn in the stove, and then I'll set up the tent and run it throughout the night. And I'm sure I'll be nice and warm, but yeah, that's the plan. But it's been a busy few weeks. We did get the puppy. His name's Lenni. Amanda's probably going to be here. She might stop in tomorrow for breakfast. And she'll probably bring Lenni along, so you guys can see her then. But she's been a handful. For the most part, she's good. She's quiet, but she's wants to chew everything. So it's going to be a while before we can probably take her out on a camping trip. Like if we use the tent and we use a blow up, like an air mattress kind of thing, like a sleep pad, she'll chew right through it, I'm sure. So I want to avoid that. Hammock camping with her, trying to come up with a solution to that. So once I come up with something, we'll see what we can do there. But yeah, for now, I'm gonna set up the stove and get a small fire going in that, just make sure it's working right. Then I'll set up the tent. Then eventually, once the stove cools down, I'll put it in the tent and process some wood, get a fire going, and cook some steak, just chill out, get a nice little night to myself, little mental health, keep myself in check thing, I guess, just de-stress. So let's do it. Alright, so back in this clearing here, this is where I typically will set up the tent when I do overnights at this spot. So this is where the tent's gonna go. I'm gonna set the stove up right over here to just get it burning, make sure it's working properly before I put it inside my tent. So gonna take a little time here to unpack it and set it up. So what's neat about these stoves, all the stove pipes and everything fit right inside it. It comes with like a spark arrestor, but I bought a different one. This one, it's a little bit finer. You wouldn't want to put like a finer mesh than that onto it. You don't want to modify a spark arrestor because that can just cause more creosote to build up in it. So that is not advised. But yeah, the stovepipe will just fit like this. Super easy to set this guy up. Definitely excited to use this when there's actually some snow on the ground, actually some colder weather. This will be, I don't know, a good way to test it out. So, there it is, whole thing set up, matter of a minute. Alright, I'm gonna get ready and make a fire. Alright, got the tent stove ready. Just gonna go ahead and get a fire going quick. Be the first fire in the tent stove. I don't want to use a ton of wood for this, but enough to get a good fire started in it. Make sure it's drawing properly and that smoke isn't coming out anywhere other than where it's supposed to. Make sure everything's good before we actually put it in the tent. Grab a few more pieces here. Excuse my reach. Alright, I'd say that's probably enough wood in it. Gotta let that fire grow a bit. Shut the door. We'll open this kind of wide, so it draws air in. Alright, let's see. That's a good sign. Smoke's coming out the top. And doesn't appear to be coming out anywhere else. So yeah, we're in business. Alright, I'm gonna get started on the tent next. Alright, so while the stove is over there doing stove stuff, gonna get some of my sleep gear out and get the tent set up. So, on the bottom of my pack, I got a wool blanket, and also there is a big sheepskin in here that I'm going to use as a sleep pad. So I'm gonna set that off to the side for now. And pop open the lower compartment of my backpack. I use this pack usually for multi-day trips or for winter camping. The setup I got in here right now is probably something I typically use for like a 3 to 5 day trip. But I mean, it's gonna do just fine for this overnight too. So, ground barrier. It's a military surplus little rubberized mat. Really light. The tent itself. Now, this is fairly popular setup. I'm not going to pretend that there aren't a ton of videos about it out there. So this is a Polish military surplus lavvu. It's 2 ponchos. There's also 2 sets of poles and stakes. You can also just cut a piece of wood to use for a pole for it. If you don't want a center pole, you could also take a rock, put that in at the top, and kind of tie that along to a ridge line or off to a branch above it. However, I would not recommend doing that if you have a stove inside of it. That could be potentially dangerous. But just for ease of setup today, I'm going with using the poles. But I mean, really, it wouldn't take much effort at all just to cut a piece of wood to be the correct size you need. So, gonna get started setting this up, and then maybe in a little bit I'll talk about some of the other new stuff I got in here that I plan to use for this trip to test it out for future trips. Yeah, that's 90% of the reason why I come to this location is it's close and it's easy to come to test out new equipment. Alright, so I just have a couple minor adjustments to make yet to the tent. But yeah, I got it up. This center pole, if you don't want to use that, like I said, you can use a stick for that. Easiest thing to do, I have a piece of rope that is the length of this that I just throw in my backpack, and I just use that to measure to get a stick that's suitable size. Another tip, I have a rock underneath this so it doesn't kind of sink into the dirt. Piece of wood, things like that would work fine. The nice solid base for it is helpful. Take another closer look at this tent here. Like I said, these are fairly popular. I was lucky and managed to get mine before they became so popular. I think I got mine for about $30 off the internet. Right now they're some places are over 100. They come in 3 sizes. These sizes you can tell by the number of these rivets or whatever. So 1 is a small, 2 is a medium, and 3 would be a large. Large would be ideal. Unfortunately, I kind of got screwed and I have 2 different sizes. Doesn't really make that big of a difference. And I mean, the buttons still line up and everything. I do notice that it's kind of off the ground a little more on the small, but like I said, that I can adjust by adjusting my tent pegs here. So, stove's doing great. It's burning really efficiently. Wasn't a whole lot of smoke, but there's a little bit of a fire in there yet. Let's see if we can see it. Yeah. But my plan is to let that burn out, cool off, so I can put it inside the tent. But for now, I'm gonna set up my bedding in the tent, figure out what side of the tent I want that on and which side the wood stove's gonna go on. So yeah, that's what's next. All right, so I got my sleeping setup done. I decided I'm gonna put the stove out through this armhole here. So the stove will be right around here. My head will be right there. This is a nice, big, thick double sheepskin. It's about a little over 6 feet. So it's definitely big enough for me. I got a wool blanket. It's not going to get too cold. It'll be, right now it's in the high 40s. It's sunny. It's going to get below freezing. Probably not lower than like 28 or 30 though. So I think it'll be plenty warm even without the tent stove, but I don't know. I think it'll be neat to try it out. Definitely want to before the season's over, so. But yeah, next step, gonna process some wood and get a cooking fire ready. And then I'll probably pull out some more gear, show you some of the other new stuff I'm working with today, and cook up some food. Alright, so I got a lot of wood processed, ready to make my fire for cooking. Pretty sure I've demonstrated these guys before. These storm-proof matches. They really come in handy. But another real neat fire starter for emergency situations or just when you need to get it done quick. These things. Mini Inferno all-weather fire. They are fantastic, I'll tell you what. So these little discs here, you don't even need a whole one. So I'm just going to take about half, close this one back up, and just kind of expose surface area on it, shred it up. And that'll help it to catch better. But yeah, you can see how it's nice and shredded. See if I can get it to focus. Yeah. I'm just gonna sit it right there. And a few strikes with the ferro rod should be all it takes. Like I said, real quick, real easy. I'm going with quick and easy right now because it is already after 5 o'clock and I want to start cooking and be able to shoot more footage before it gets dark. This will be really the first overnight that I've made a video, so not entirely sure how well the camera's going to do under low light, but we'll see. I feel my phone going off. Pretty sure Amanda is sending me videos of the puppy doing puppy things. So she's been doing real good. I really can't complain, but well, shouldn't complain. However, she has had some recent anxiety with car rides that kind of happen out of nowhere, which is unfortunate because we take her to work every day. We got an hour commute to the farm, and a big role she's going to have is we're training her to be a certified therapy dog for at our program. So if anyone out there has got some tips for dealing with that sort of anxiety with a young dog, let me know. Amanda and I of course, are watching dog training videos and stuff on YouTube. Amanda definitely more than me, but I'm trying. We do want to get her used to backpacking and camping and hopefully some kayaking too. So right now, just doing baby steps, basic training. Really smart though, she's really got the tricks down. A lot of different tricks, so that's cool. Alright. So I've got the stove in the tent. Nicely set up here. Sun's getting lower in the sky. Got my fire going over there. So, some of the new pieces of gear that I got with me today that I'm going to be trying out for the first time. This Bitty Big Q folding grill grate. This is what I'm going to cook my steak on. It folds out like this, and then comes out like that, and then the legs fold down 3 times, so they keep getting longer, but you get the picture. The other thing I got, this is going to be useful for camera or phone or whatever. It's a power bank. Power bank that happens to have a solar panel, and also this plugs in more solar panels. But yeah, I'm going to use it to charge my phone. Also be able to use it to charge camera batteries. Also my headlamp, I use rechargeable batteries for that. So definitely think this will be useful. It's supposed to be able to charge, I've got an iPhone 8. Should be able to charge this 7 times. It is down to 18% right now. So I'm actually gonna plug in. I've actually gone through 1 camera battery already too, so might get to test that out too. I just have this charging bay. Batteries go into that, and then it just uses like a mini USB. So should work for that too. So yeah, see how those 2 things go. Letting the fire burn down to some nice coals, and get ready to have some steak here. So menu tonight, we've got, gonna steam some broccoli, so I'm gonna heat up the water for that, and got a nice thick juicy ribeye. So I'm gonna season this up. I've got some Spiceology Chipotle garlic seasoning. for that. And I have a log of like a compound herb butter that I made earlier today. It's got garlic and parsley and a little salt and pepper. I'm going to try to do this without dropping the camera into the fire, because that'd be no fun. I love using this seasoning. I use it on when I'm making food on the smoker. So like sometimes on brisket, use it on ribs, use it on wings. I grill chicken sometimes. It's great on steak, obviously, or I wouldn't be using it. Getting all over here. Doesn't have a lot of salt in it either, so that's nice. But, all right, there we go. Oh yeah. All right, steak is rested. It is definitely pretty dark out. The butter didn't melt quite as much as I wish it would have, but that's okay. Let's take a look here. Oh yeah. Nice rare steak. Just the way I like it. Super tender. That was a big mouthful, sorry. Let's get some broccoli. Yep, there goes the broccoli. Broccoli's got a little dirt on it. So yeah, I've got all my wood processed, got my tent set up. I'm ready for some dessert. I got the fire built up for my dessert tonight. Got a bottle of scotch. It's a 15-year single malt Scotch whiskey, Glenlivet. Let's see. French Oak Reserve. So, now I do have rules when it comes to this. I always make sure all my wood's processed and not using any, swinging around any axes or any other sharp tools once I have a drink. But, yeah, something about having some whiskey by a campfire, that's just sounds like the medicine I need tonight, so. Alright, so, came in from the campfire, and it's pretty damn dark in here, but it is warm. Check my thing here. It is 57 degrees in here. I do have the side of the tent open right now. Tent isn't even shut. It's about 37 outside right now and dropping. So it's definitely a lot warmer in here. But yeah, this has been a good night. The stove is really kicking off heat. I just brought over a big piece or two of burning wood from the main fire pit and stuck it into the stove here. Yeah, that worked real well to start it up. As far as a little safety precaution goes, I do have a carbon monoxide detector. They're light. They have rechargeable batteries in it, so just a little extra peace of mind, even though this tent is definitely not anywhere near airtight. It wouldn't be an issue, there'd be enough airflow, but just to be extra safe. But yeah, this has been an absolutely beautiful night. Really clear sky. Right now I've got a nice wide open view, so I think this is a really good setup. It is a little windy tonight. I do have a tent protector on the stove that's just holding that opening wider for the stovepipe to go out without it touching the tent itself. And I can tell you now, the stovepipe is at parts glowing red hot. I don't know if I can really show it or not. Yeah, you may be able to see it, I don't know. It was a lot brighter before. But yeah, it is hot, so I think that's beneficial to protect the tent from burning. I earlier touched the pipe with my leather gloves, and in a matter of seconds it did some serious damage to them, so it's hot. But yeah, I think I'm gonna just kind of relax here for the remainder of the evening. Finish off this last drink. And I'll see you at breakfast tomorrow. Let you know how the rest of this night goes.